Hello, I am Charlotte Bergman, the host of Political Talk with Charlotte. Thank you for joining me today. We're going to talk about some great things. For instance, we're going to talk about this bomber, the guy who set the bombs. The bombs didn't go off, but we're going to talk about them. We are going to talk about the Memphis Task Force and some of the results of what is transpiring on the streets. And we're also going to hopefully get to the Venezuela boat bombing. We've got some, I want you to understand what exactly is going on concerning this. So join us. We'll be right back. Why, hello there. I hope you had a great Thanksgiving. I certainly did. I had a great Thanksgiving. And what I was encouraged about was this. I think 2026 is going to show us that economically, we are going to really be in a great position and things are going to explode economically and people are going to have money in their pockets again. I like that and I'm looking forward to it. As I did my research, you know what? People were complaining about how things were looking economically, and there were some people who were trying to push a blackout and a boycott for Black Friday. They failed miserably because their message is not the message that people want to hear and live by. Did you know that 131.7 million Americans made retail purchases on Black Friday? 131.7 million. And Black Friday, economically, the revenue increased by 10.2% year over year. And the average shopper, get this, they spent $650 during the Black Friday Cyber Monday sales period. Some people are going to have a really good Christmas this year. Even on Black Friday itself, people shopped online. Approximately 87 million people did that. And on the Thanksgiving weekend, shoppers made purchases. Approximately 66.9% of the people. Things are going to be looking good because what that does, as people buy, as purchases are made, that's going to encourage more businesses to come to the United States. That's going to encourage more manufacturing. That's going to encourage more buying power, more jobs. Who do we have? Noni, thank you for joining me. I have missed you. I hope all is well with you. You are one of my favorites, and I appreciate you. So let's go ahead and start the show. This is going to be a great week. This is going to be a great month. And there's a lot that I need to talk to you about concerning this bomber. And I may break into the show as the live press conference occurs. It hasn't started yet, so we're continuing. Thanks for joining Political Talk with Charlotte this week. I am Charlotte Bergman. I am a conservative voice for Christian values. And guess what? I am a Republican. And the more I find out about the Democrats, the more I realize, boy, I sure am glad I made that switch. Our show airs every Thursday at noon. And if you want to get in contact with me, you have some concerns about something I say, email me at charlottebergman.com or check me out on Facebook, Bitchute, Twitter. Just type in Charlotte Bergman and several social media sites should pop up. And just send me a comment about what you think about the show. Now, if you're new to the channel, leave a comment and or subscribe to either YouTube, because we are on YouTube, and Rumble. We're actually also on Bitchute and a number of other social media sites, even on Twitter. But we have approximately over 10,000 supporters or people on Facebook, on both of my Facebook pages, but we need you to help us to grow our YouTube and our Rumble channels. Thank you. You guys have no idea how much I love you, how much I appreciate you, how much I miss you during the Thanksgiving, but I had a really great time with my family, and family is everything. Please come in and share my videos and just help me to break that shadow banning. Now, my book, The Last Trumpet in the Battle for America, if you know of somebody who is set in their ways, who have been deceived by the Democrats, order The Last Trumpet in the Battle for America and give it to them as a Christmas present and encourage them to read it. I think they will enjoy it. You can get the book on Amazon and any online bookstore. Now sit back, get your popcorn and your Kool-Aid. Those are the two things I recommend for this time of year, just sitting back and watching the show. This time of year, it might be safer to stick with Kool-Aid, don't you think? But I want to encourage you to enjoy the show. We had a special election, a nail-biting special election for Tennessee 7 this week. What does that special election portends for Republicans? I mean, Democrats are walking away and they feel like they got something to brag about, even though they lost. I'll tell you what it portends for Republicans. I'm proud of you. You got off the couch, you got out to vote. I want to encourage you to treat every election like a presidential election and get out to vote. If you had not gotten out to vote, no way would Matt Van Elst have won. And he was sworn in, and he made a statement on the floor, on the U.S. House floor today. So that was encouraging. Let's see if this press conference has started already. If it has not. When it does, I'll try to bring in a little bit. That J6 pipe bomb suspect has been arrested. The FBI finally cracked the case. That's haunted us for nearly 5 years. How many of you remember where you were on J6? I remember working with Anita Heroes and Megan Mays, and we planned since we didn't want to go to Washington, D.C., we planned a protest or rally in Memphis. It was very successful and very well attended. And at the time that we were planning it, they wanted to hold a rally after G6. I said, no, I don't think that would be a good idea. And I'm glad that I said that, because the Democrats were able to take that particular incident and make it very toxic and had MAGA people running and hiding because they were going out and arresting people. You would too. Okay, so a suspect has been taken into custody in connection with planning the pipe bombs outside both the Democrat National Committee and the Republican National Committee headquarters on January 5th, 2021. I don't take that lightly, and I'll tell you what. With everything that went on January 6th, there was an insurrection. There was an insurrection, but what people fail to understand is Joe Biden was not the president. An insurrection is held against the president. So that insurrection was held against President Trump. But it really wasn't an insurrection. Now, there were people who came out and defended themselves because they were attacked because of people pretending to be MAGA. Let's just take it there. Okay? This plan, this J6 pipe bomber suspect, his plan was to be enacted if the original plan was not successful. And we'll get more into that as we gain and gather more information. So this arrest occurred today, this morning, bringing an end to one of the most scrutinized, unsolved cases from the January 6th timeframe. I just find it so weird that this was Joe Biden's administration by the time they started arresting people. They were able to find grandmothers who probably only walked into the Capitol for 2 minutes because they were invited in. They were able to find those people, but they weren't able to find the J6 bomber. There were some surveillance cameras footage from the night of January 5th, 2021, which captured the image of the person wearing a gray hooded sweatshirt, mask, gloves, glasses. And one of the key identifying pieces of clothing he had on were the Nike Air Max Speed Turf sneakers. Also, the way he walked, plus the sneakers, I think that's what gave it away. He was carrying a backpack while planting the devices at both headquarters. And that was an attempt to make sure that they had all of their bases covered. Noni, thank you. Let's see what we have here. Let's go ahead, and I want to show you a picture of this guy. And then I want to show you a little bit more. Okay, this guy, his name is Brian Cole, 33 years old, from Virginia. The FBI got their man, according to the FBI. He had a gait that was very distinct. And I find it interesting too. You can look at one of your friends, and many times you probably won't be able to see their faces, but you can kind of tell who they are by their walk. What do you think? He had on so they got a match from his gait. He walked forward, bent forward when he walked. Nike Air Max Speed Turf kicks, hoodie, mask, glasses, gloves. From the footage, the pipe bombs at the RNC and DNC headquarters, I think those were placed there by him obeying the deep state. And I'll tell you what, now that they have him, they're going to find out who actually encouraged him to do this, because he had to be very sophisticated in order to be able to plant those bombs. He had to know what he was doing. Otherwise, they would have blown up in his face. But there is a connection in terms of this Brian Cole and the pipe bombs and J6 and Venezuela. And I'll try to bring all of this together before I land the plane. Let's go back and let's look at this guy in action. Okay. Let's see what he looks like. I do have a picture of him. Yes, I do. I do have a picture of him. He looks like a sweet young man. He didn't have very many friends, only 673 friends. As of December the 4th, he had 1,089 views. He went to Fairfax High School in Woodbridge, Virginia. You're going to find out more about this young man later. He looks like a sweet young man, doesn't he? Why do I believe that he was probably set up to do this? Would you agree with me? Let's see if I have any more information about him. Nope, I don't. I want to go ahead and move on to the next topic, and that is what our U.S. Marshal Services has to say about the Memphis Safe Task Force. There are some great things that are happening. According to the U.S. Marshal Services, what? Yes, 33,607 total arrests. 3,607 total arrests. 551 firearms seized. Now, typically, when they seize the firearms, those are from people who are not supposed to have firearms. So they've got a lot of firearms off the streets. They're doing really good in keeping Memphis safe. I have no complaints. I'm excited. And this lawsuit that Mayor Harris has initiated, you're going to see it's going to fall flat on his face. Noni, let's see what Noni has to say. I remember watching a news report with the president of an election watchdog group. She had just returned from Italy and was trying to get Italian court records to Matt Gaetz concerning the arrest of an Italian general in the Vatican servant. Yes, yes. More and more of this is going to come out. You are so right. You know what? I'm just going to go ahead and say it. This J6 bombing incident, the bombing in Venezuela, let me tell you all something. These are no coincidences, none whatsoever. And there is a correlation between the two. What this means is 2020, it ain't over yet. 2020 is not over yet, guys. It's not going to be over until we're able to do certain things like get one-day voting. Let's see, we need one-day in-person voting, paper ballots, proof of citizenship, no mail-in ballots. If you don't take anything else from my interview today, a lot did happen on 1/6 Noni. And yes, there is a correlation. You see, according to what I understand, you mentioned Italy, but Venezuela had been heavily involved in the servers and had been very involved in the corruption in terms of elections. And what the president is doing now is making sure that we understand exactly what is going on, and it's going to come back up again. Election fraud. I sent a letter to President Trump letting him know, I don't know if he read it or not, but letting him know that Linda Phillips in Shelby County has been reported that 185,000 inactive voters were still on the voter roll. Until we get those voter rolls cleaned up, we will have problems with our elections. And without, oh, really? Oh, really? Noni says she heard a mega person purchase Dominion. I need to research that. I'm not sure, but I know that Venezuela has a lot to do with the election and what happened with Dominion and Smartmatic and many of those other servers that were contributing to the election. And I also know that we're going to find out some things. I'm just bringing up some stuff and I don't have any proof, but I really believe that our Supreme Court was responsible for turning the away when these charges were brought up, just like in my case. Oh, okay. She says that a mega person purchased Dominion within the last couple of months. Let's wait and let's see what happens. but I believe that there are going to be some things to change. I want to appeal to you guys. Stop what you're doing. If you want freedom, if you want more results like we received from the District 7 election, I want to ask you to put down what you're doing right now, pick up your phone, call Washington, D.C., call the Senate, and tell them to nuke the filibuster. Nuke that filibuster. And that way we will be able to have honest elections. Okay, I'm going to show you, get back to what is happening now. The Democrats, they lie so much, and that makes me so glad that I am a Republican right now. They lie so much. They're trying to bring up something. When things aren't going their way, they go out the President Trump's administration and cabinet members. They're going out the Pete Hegseth now. And they are talking about the 2 Coke boats survivors. Well, now they're having to come to the realization and be able to accept the fact that those survivors, they weren't as innocent as it was first announced. So I want to show you this. I want to show you this brief video, and you decide. But I want you to call your U.S. senators and tell them to nuke that filibuster. Nuke it. We don't need it, because the Democrats are going to make sure that they put in 21 U.S. Supreme Court members. That's going to kill our Constitution and kill our great country.
Tonight, new information. According to a source familiar with the incident, the 2 survivors climbed back onto the boat after the initial strike. They were believed to be potentially in communication with others and salvaging some of the drugs. Because of that, it was determined they were still in the fight and valid targets. A JAG officer was also giving legal advice.
This backs up the entire second strike.
Yes, I mean, it doesn't get more crystal clear than that. The mission is take out the boat, stop the drugs, keep this vessel and its cargo from reaching our shore using lethal means.
That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about, making sure that they don't bring that poison to our country. Now, the Democrats are saying you should have struck the boat twice. They just confessed, even on a liberal news channel, that the survivors hadn't given up. They were still trying to protect their cargo. They were still trying to protect the Coke and the, I don't know, I think about this because I do have a friend whose son died from fentanyl. And many people I know have family members who have died from that. They're still trying to come on our country, on our land, and they're still trying to make sure that they're still trying to make sure that they're able to sell their products. So apparently my press conference has not started yet, but I'm about to end my show. It appears that the president is speaking right now. So I'm going to let you guys go and listen to what the president has to say. But
scribe is how you stop explaining the same thing over and over.
Or maybe I can bring up what the president is saying. Let's see.
God can live in dignity, prosperity, and peace. And these are 2 very good men, and they're 2 potentially very strong countries. I'd like to to now invite President Kagame to come up and say a few
Okay, the
words.
press
It's
conference
Rwanda.
hasn't started yet. So anyway, I'm going to end my show and let you guys go ahead and turn your TV on to watch the press conference about the J6 bomber. But I want to implore you again, call your senators. Let them know that we are tired of votes that are fraudulent, that we want them to pass the SAVE Act, and Democrats are not going to allow them to do that. So they must nuke the filibuster. So anyway, thank you all for joining me this week. I hope you guys had a wonderful Thanksgiving. I know I did. It was great, especially spent with family. I want to thank you for joining Political Talk with Charlotte. I am Charlotte Bergman, your host, and I enjoy spending time with you on a weekly basis. Christmas is coming up. I hope you're getting prepared for that. I know I am. Yes, I've been doing some shopping too, and I got more shopping to do. So be blessed. I love you. This is Charlotte Bergman signing off on Political Talk of Charlotte. Thanks for joining the show.